How do, everyone? Welcome to the Potty Mouth Garden Club. Yes, it comes so quick, man. So quick, it's unreal. So, we have a fantastic show today as well. One thing, the old fella's not here. He's had to take Anne to the doctor. So, I want to just make sure everything's all right with Anne. So, Steve can't be with her tonight. So, Anne, get yourself sorted out. Steve, don't you worry about not turning up on the show. We have someone has stepped in is going to answer every question. Isn't that right, Mark?
the pressure is immense.
You are. Like I mentioned, you're going to have to kind of answer every hard question that comes in about, the certain germination of a certain variety. What's the temperature we need? So if you don't mind, Mark, just have your little junior garden encyclopedia to hand.
Google's ready to go.
Well, no, joking aside, a big thank you, Mark, for you've had about 10 minutes to kind of sit in the seat, grab. And I bet you haven't even have you got any little drink there or anything like ice?
I've got a beer, but I was more worried about tidying up. It was a right mess behind us, but quickly rushing around, scripting it all away in the cupboard.
Mark, honestly, big thank you there, big thank you. Audrey, we have our garden muse is in there. Audrey, thank you so much. How are you, lass?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, it's lovely to have you on, to be honest, Audrey. It seems like it's been ages, to be honest. So, and yes. I was just telling Audrey, if you look on Audrey, we've got now I've sorted it out, the temperatures. And when I was building these temperatures up, because it's such a faff. Audrey was -6 and it was through the day. So you're still getting... Do you know what I mean? We're almost in the spring. We think it's spring now, Audrey, over here. So
we do too, but we have an ice storm coming in Wednesday and Thursday.
Man.
So we'll be in deep freeze.
Oh.
So everything's still happening inside.
Yes. Well, Audrey, it's lovely to have you. It's lovely to have you here again. And we have the one and only Mr. JB. JB, sir. Nice to have you. Nice to have you. Are you good? Are you well?
I'm very well. Yeah, my latest video.
All I can say is, JB, don't worry tonight, right? There's nothing don't you worry. We're gonna be. I'm not gonna pick on you. That's what I'm trying to say. There, I'm gonna be very kind to you. But before we kind of get in, I forgot to kind of mention. Don't forget the Discord, if you don't mind. That would be fantastic. Pop over there, say hello. The competition actually is finished now for those nail mats. It was the biggest competition I've ever ran. So look out again. If you join, then we'll get more competitions going. If you want a question, Mark has said he'd guarantee to answer any difficult question. Put the letter Q, exactly like that. Type a Q, capital Q. Put your question, and then we'll hopefully try and get to it. And if we don't get to it, then Mark sent me a little text saying, Tony, I don't know that one. So
you keep pronouncing Audrey wrong. That's not how you pronounce Audrey.
What else have I got there? Yes, please subscribe. It's growing ever more, ever bigger there. That is fantastic. And is there anything else? I don't think so, to be honest. There we go. Let's talk about gardening. Oh, the very first thing. 1 second. Grown local from 7 o'clock. So actually we're 4 minutes late. There's a links in the description. There's links there. Grown local from 7 o'clock tonight to 10 o'clock is offering 15% discount on all seeds. So normally you get like the potty. If you're down there, if you can see where it says potty, put that potty code in. You normally get 10%. For the live audience that are here there now, Ian from Grown Local is offering 15% on all the seeds as well. And we've got some new varieties in as well. We're going to talk about this Black Moon as well, because everyone's talking about that Black Moon tomato. So from now until 10 o'clock, 15% for the live audience. How about that then? There we go. So let me just cough. I've just recovered from man flu there, you know what I mean? And I was a trooper, do you know what I mean? I kind of battled it, you know what I mean? And I kind of,
What exactly is man flu?
It's Audrey. Oh, jeez. Audrey, it's the worst kind of cold you'll ever know about. Man.
Worse than COVID.
Oh, when you compared it to childbirth, I was like, no, thank you, sir. You cannot say
Childbirth? What? That's just like round the corner. Man through's like a marathon, man. It's just like
yeah, wow.
Wow.
So it means you got sick and you're whining about it a lot. I got it.
JB.
Hello. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh. Well, come on then, Howie, give us your glory. You finished it. Has it? I watched the video. I was just like, I was happy as anything for you, to be honest, JB. It was just like a lush time to kind of. It has been a monumental build, and I know you've said I've enjoyed it, but I bet you're glad it's finished.
I am. Yeah, it's very surreal. It's very, very surreal, and I can't believe it went on for as long as it did. I think everyone watching felt the same. It just carried on and on and on. But,
JB? How long has it took? Well, I'm not saying don't start from the beginning when you actually pick the thing up, because that's over 2 years. So,
not quite.
How long has it took the actual build?
I think I started actually properly getting it together in I want to say September. It was just so long ago. And people are staying a little quiet, so let me just.
What size, JB, is it? Because obviously it must be a huge thing if it's took you nearly 6 months.
It's huge, yeah. It's massive. It's like 30 foot long, like 20 foot wide. It's like 8 by 6. It's like the smallest. Well, it's not the smallest of greenhouses.
I've got the smallest.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
It took me 2.5 days. Electric's going on mine on Wednesday.
Yeah, yours isn't actually done yet.
Yes, electric's going on Wednesday,
properly.
so I'm sure it's starting to back up, mind you, JB. I know. Was it happening? I don't think it would be happening for you, but are you taking chilies into there eventually as well? Are you?
So the plan is to basically have that as a place to put things in the ground. I want to build raised beds in that greenhouse and dedicate it 70% to tomatoes. That figure keeps getting smaller every time I speak about it. But it's meant to be a tomato greenhouse, and then the other one is meant to be the chili pepper greenhouse. But so we'll see.
Am I right in thinking they're both the same size?
The older one is slightly wider. I think it's 7.
You need to name them. What's the older one? The older one on your, because the older one you've just put up is by
Well, they're both ancient. I think they're both ancient, but my original one I think is 7 by 8, and then the one I've just picked up is 6 by 8. Right. So it's just a little bit wider, which is quite nice. But
and you know, like I mean, obviously we're like chili hounds here. You want to use one, I guess, dedicated to chilies. Would that be a big enough place to kind of grow as many as you? Because you, like you say, you're obsessed with chilies.
Enough. No, that's the thing. So I've grown. I don't even know how many varieties this year, but too many. And I keep saying, I keep being like, well, I've got 2 greenhouses now, which is really stupid because I'm not meant to be putting chilies in the new greenhouse. But it tends to just become overflowing with peppers. I end up doing a few just outside in the garden. I tend to just prioritize them. You know, the ones that I really care about, they get pride of place in the greenhouse in the biggest pots. And then there's like a hierarchy where some get stuffed into the corner in smaller pots, and then some just get chucked outside.
And I've never had a decent crop outside, mind you. I've had nice crops inside in the past, but not.
It depends on the pepper. Some do okay outside, but yeah, the season just is so much shorter when you're not in the greenhouse. You know, that kind of October, November in the greenhouse is still quite nice, whereas it's turned outside.
And I forgot to mention as well, JB, this Wednesday, I know we talk a lot about it on here, but we're going to talk all chilies on Wednesday. So that will be that's fun. I'm looking forward to that. Yes. I've got me questions. Excuse me, I'm going to mute myself.
Very good. Chat, let me know if I'm louder now, if my sound is okay. Pretty please. People were saying I was a bit quiet. I haven't changed anything, but
it wouldn't come back on. Do you know what? We're being tidying this room up. There's no bed here there now. I've got a couple of things. And I walked in and my wife says, what do you think I've done? I've been moving. My microphone was on the floor. And I was like, what? Where's my bloody microphone? So, yes. So Wednesday night, 7 p.m, this Wednesday coming, myself and JB talking all chilies and everything like that.
I can't wait.
So I tell you what, look what I've got with my name on it there. Who do you think sent them? Who do you think sent these over? Audrey.
Awesome.
Yeah. Audrey, before we get into these seeds, Audrey, I want to show you something. This was Joe's Exotic. I think Joe's Exotic sent this over. So Joe's Exotic tried to buy some seeds from America. And I think the seeds came to $12, which, you know what I mean. Look at that. The postage. $200.
Holy smokes.
Do you know what I mean?
Well,
What?
200.
Well, because if customs and all that stuff is being followed, letter of the law, they have to buy certain things to mail those to the UK. So what they have to buy to do that is about $200.
Wow.
So so you need to deal with a company that's already done that, or know someone in the US who's willing to
Send them in a brown paper envelope.
Well,
hey, lassie.
My husband took them in, and he declared garden seeds on the thing, and I thought, honey, that's why we shrink wrapped them so they wouldn't shake and they all got there. So
Yeah.
you know,
Wow.
who knows?
Also, what you're saying then with, is it Johnny's Seeds? You've got to actually buy, like I say, a license first of all.
There's some kind of you have to. There's paperwork. That's all I know. There's paperwork, and it's about declaring like where the seeds came from, what they are, but it costs a fortune to do that.
Mm.
So yeah.
Well, I don't think Joe bought them. I think the car was emptied as quick as.
Worth buying, yeah.
Yes.
No, I've seen that when I've tried to buy some stuff in the UK. I get the same answer.
All right.
Because they're like, no, we have to buy this, we have to buy that, we have to certify them, we have to. And I thought, well, okay.
To be honest, Audrey, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because when I seen it, just naturally I went, the Robin Sods. Do you know what I mean? That's what I thought.
But they're not. Johnny Seed is a really good. It's an employee-owned company, which I love. And no, they really cater to commercial growers, but they don't do any GMO seeds. So no, I think I buy a lot from them.
I tell you what I did like, Audrey, because like I say, we're all got names on, and this little machine that you must have, Audrey, to shrink wrap them. Because I was watching Chili Chump make some sauces. We're talking about chilies again, and he vacuum sealed, and I went, oh, because I love a gadget, and I was thinking, oh, I like that, and it came. They were like minuscule thin, like I say, no shaking, undercut. Obviously, your husband went and blew the whole shebang in game, but.
And when he came home, I said, "Are you kidding me?" Oh my God. Remember, I said garden gifts. That's what they are.
Well, to be honest, there's loads here, Audrey, but I want to just show folks. Let me just put myself. These are the ones we're all kind of.
Yeah.
Yes, I know Steve's got them. So orange accordion. JB, did you get orange accordion as well? There, look at man.
Oh, it's just reflecting, isn't it? It's just glare, but yes, I did.
You are gonna love.
You need to get a proper light on there to get that stuff. Did you get a free seed, JB? Did you get any free seed?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I was so excited when I got these. But yeah, like you said, I couldn't believe that they got through customs. When I saw it said seeds on it, I was like, oh my goodness. But yeah, the
datil. Got pepper, I think it's detail there. Got them free. Now, this is what we've all been, and Steve was wild about these ones. The Wildflower Farms Atomic Fusion. So, Audrey, are they related to the Brad's Atomic then, are they?
They're a larger Brad's Atomic, really.
Right.
It'll get more like, it won't be a beefsteak size, but it'll be like that in-between size between a cherry and a beefsteak.
Nice.
So it'll be kind of, but they're gorgeous. So
that was a right American. They're gorgeous. that's my bastardizing it, mind you. They're gorgeous. But actually, you get 15 to 25 seeds in there. That's quite. Are these Atomic Fusion ones, Audrey? Are these F1s or not?
no, everything that Wild Boar does, and is open pollinated.
Right.
Nice.
So I tell you what. I also, where was it? You sent us, Audrey. Let's just have a look. Have I got it somewhere?
Well, your favorite beans, I think, are in there.
Yeah, favorite beans. But there was also, I've got it somewhere. That lettuce you sent. You know, the Cos lettuce.
Cos lettuce.
Which are just so Christmas Lima beans. I've never grew them before.
Yeah, I got some of those.
Oh, you got some of them.
You are very welcome. You will love those.
Oh. We've got the black strawberry. JB, have you got black? It's like it's like top trumps.
It's like bingo.
Have you lost all your cards?
I feel left out. I've got my grown local seeds here. It's all right.
Very good. Very good.
Did you know, everyone? Did you know there's a 15% discount on grown local until just for the live audience there? Well, let's talk about just while we're on there. Everyone, have you heard this one, JB? The this black moon tomato, because they say it's like sun gold.
Yes,
as good as
Ian
sun
was telling
gold.
Me about this.
Yes,
I was really excited.
I'm going to grow that one as well. And what I think I'm going to have to do though, JB, is I'm only going to grow tomatoes down one side of the tunnel. So I've got to be very because I want to really go into the kind of chilies. I want to grow chilies in the greenhouse and chilies along the back as well. So I've got to be sparing. So has anybody else seen the or heard about those black moon? Is that what they're called? Black moon F1.
Reading about them the other day, and when they said they were like sun gold are one of my favourite tomatoes. And I remember seeing one of your old videos about sun gold, and that's why I grew them.
Right.
Like, sun gold. They're really, really sweet. So if these ones are like that, then they're definitely.
Well, I'm hoping, Mark, that these ones, because there's one kink in the sun gold, isn't it? You know, there's one kink in the sun gold, and that's the split. So bloody easy. Do you know what I mean? And I've tried as well picking them like even earlier than I should, but they're still kind of eventually kind of split.
It's not quite,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping these ones don't split. So. Yes. What else have I got in here as well? It was actually these ones, Audrey, which I've never sustainable. The actual information, because that's where I couldn't find it, is on the back. So I've got black beauty eggplants, and then this lettuce. I had a cracking crop, Audrey, with them this year, last year. These what they're called, Romania, the Paris Cos ones. They grew to like big things like that, you know what I mean? So
that's lovely. I can't grow them that big.
Mm-hmm.
They're too hot, too fast. So I know. So enjoy. But I was thinking, Tony, if you're running out of room and you can one side of your polytunnel, why don't you put up another one?
It's a good idea.
You could make about 20 episodes for YouTube.
I can milk that puppy all the way
to what does Steve have? 3 or 4?
Oh,
so I think and dedicate them all to tomatoes.
Well, did you see? And I haven't got it. And we'll try and get Hannah on the time. Hannah was still, when I was asking Mark if he could come on, Hannah was still at the allotment putting up the polytunnel in the dark with torches. Round of applause for Hannah. You know what I mean? It was just like,
right there.
Man, it's just like with the lights fading, but if I can just get this sorted and just get it. So I don't think. Was she putting? Do you know if Hannah was putting the plastic on tonight, or was she just kind of base?
I think.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's too windy. Too windy today, she said, for the actual.
Well, that would make a good video though. Covering the winds. That would be awesome.
I tell you what I did, mind you, when it was like I had all the kind of, you know what I mean? I had a drone when I was taking down the old one. It's like the technology now. I had a drone about 10 foot away, just hovering, so I could like cut the plastic and step out of it, one of the sides. You know what I mean? Because it was like old plastic knackered. So, but I don't know if I've got the. Steve seems to have the energy. Just like he puts up polytunnels like for breakfast. Do you know what I mean? Like, to be honest, putting that little 4 foot by 6 foot greenhouse, I was like, I need to take a day or two rest. Yeah. How was it happening, man? You know what I mean? I'm just like.
The amount of comments I had on my greenhouse videos basically saying, like, people just imagining you trying to do it. It's so good.
Well,
yeah.
Jamie, you must have the kind of patience because honestly, that first cut of the glass would have been my last cut. You know, when your first cut, it didn't go right and it was a bit hanging off. That would.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. Melanie, I'll have to buy a whole new glass. Do you know what I mean? Whole new glass. I'll have to get someone to fit it. You know what I mean? Kind of. But it's.
Yeah, I felt so lucky. It just after that one, the second one just popped perfect, and then I sort of got the hang of it over the next few. Really cool. It was so satisfying.
Oh, mind you, because when it came, do you know what I mean? I've like wanted a greenhouse for ages, but when that thing came, and then you see these just like little packs, and you're thinking, God, I'm never gonna do that. And then you see like Hall's instructions, it like solidifies. I'm never gonna do that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Kind of never. But then it's up, and you think, bloody hell, and it's little things rock solid. You know what I mean? I don't know what, you know, if it kind of gales kind of came into the yard, I don't know how that would hold up. But talking about gales, this is my first topic there. We've had some more pretty big storms come through. Have you, Mark, as well? Have you had some?
Since the weekend, sort of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, winds 40, 50 miles an hour. It's been absolutely horrendous. It's been awful.
So, you know, when you've got, Mark, you know, when you've got that kind of, you know, that's kind of coming, do you go up and batten down that polytunnel? Because where I got my polytunnel from, which was Plants Direct, I would get emails from the manager, Sean, Tony, you better go up with a drill and just like put a, you know, he says, so many people don't, and it's like that's how you know, like the wind gets in, and it's away to Kansas. You know what I mean? Do you go and physically bar your doors?
It's grand. I mean, I got mine from First Tunnels, and if you watch my build videos, you'll see there was a few issues. I know Steve's got a really good relationship with them, but I had missing bits and stuff like that, and it was a bit annoying when you've got limited time to go up there and build it, and then the bits you want to use aren't there. So that was a bit frustrating, but once it's built and it's there, it's absolutely rock solid. It's not going anywhere. I mean, I paid for some extras. Like I got the twin bars that were along the top, the crop bars that go across to make it stronger, and the steel's thicker as well. So it's just a few of the optional extras that you can sort of get on it, because I know that up here gets a bit windy, but it's been absolutely rock solid since it's gone up.
Well, it's funny. So Steve did mention these. You've got like, so where I've got like a centre bar. So have you still got your centre bar, but then you've also got two other bars?
There's one either side, yeah. So one down the middle and then one either side.
Aye. Because that's just like, you can hang loads of shit off that. You know what I mean? It's just like, put a bit of wire, bit of wood there, bit more wood, bit more wood, you know what I mean? Floating shelves.
Everything.
Oh. Would you put up another, have you got room then, Mark, for another polytunnel? Do you know what I mean? Like, just say, no expense spared.
I could squeeze one in, but I'm thinking about a greenhouse for the garden at home. So we've got a bit of space down the bottom of the garden. So I'm thinking a greenhouse rather than a polytunnel. So we'll see.
That was always the case with Steve was saying. You need it's a 3-pronged attack. Germination, like grew on, and then the polytunnel. And I always kind of missed this middle bit, and I kind of had you know what I mean, in the hut with all these kind of lights in it. They're all still there. Do you mean there's a whole rack of them bloody? There's that what Mars Hydro? There's about I don't know where the lights.
Well, that's what I'm missing. I'm missing that bit in between. So the seeds, grow them under lights and stuff like that. But my plot's about 4 miles away from home. So if I've got little seedlings and that up at the plot, it becomes a bit of a chore to I've got to go down the high street and then out to the plot and water them. And if you go in there late at night and the gate's locked, you've got to open this bloody gate again and go in and they lock it behind you. And it just becomes a hassle. Whereas if I've got a greenhouse at the bottom of the garden, just pop down there, 30 seconds, water up, do whatever, and then back in the house.
So, JB, these storms, is this greenhouse built to last to yours?
The storm's completely passed us by.
Did it?
I don't know yet. It's not been tested. We had very mild wind.
Right.
It just got a little bit windy, but absolutely nothing bordering storm. So it's not had any tests yet. But as soon as you get the glass in an actual greenhouse, it does, like you say, just become pretty solid. So
I mean, it's like when you think about it, your windows don't pop out
wood.
when you've got a storm. Do you know what I mean? So you've been through storms with your old greenhouse. Has that kind of just sailed through it, or do you is there a chance you will lose some?
I tell you what, the first year that I'd put that greenhouse up, I was really anxious every time it got properly windy. And I'm really glad that I grew out of that. I think after you have a couple of really bad storms, you can finally relax and not worry about it. But that first kind of season, oh God, every time it got properly windy outside, I was like nervous wreck. And I lost a few bits of polycarbonate that I'd put in the roof, but that was all. And that was just because they weren't secured properly,
Well, I must be going through that now, JB, because if we leave like the yard door open, it kind of howls down that garden. You know what I mean? I'm like kind of, oh bloody hell, shut the door. You know what I mean? So I'm a little bit. It's like a new toy. I'm so protective over it. Hopefully, like once that kind of gets away. So have you got a greenhouse, or do you anything like that, or?
I do not. I think I'm probably going to do a cold frame.
Right.
And that's about all I think I could use. I think a greenhouse, we don't have a long enough spring for a greenhouse to do me much good. We go pretty much from winter to summer. Mm-hmm. And then it would just be so hot. I don't know what would be in there. Mm-hmm. Maybe rented as a sauna or something. But
I was thinking, it would be ideal because you could heat it up. But then I was thinking, your summer comes so quick. There's no real
benefit. I think a cold frame might work well for me, so I can get things out early and get them hardened off. But then I can just take that away. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think for me but I think a greenhouse is a beautiful. I wouldn't mind it as an accessory in my backyard. But I'm not sure it would do me much good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, let's go to the questions at the moment. Let's see if I can pull one question up there. So Mark, get ready, lad.
Oh, the pressure.
I pay you enough. You know what I mean? You should know these questions.
Speeds.
Right. Fee's Crafty Creations. Is it better to grow sweet peppers in a greenhouse or plant outside? Now, just like I was just talking to JB there, I get no luck with like chilies outside. I've never grown sweet peppers outside. And what JB said there, the season ends quicker, you know what I mean? Quick, especially up the north, quicker for us, than anything there. So for me personally, I wouldn't risk it. I don't know, JB, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'd certainly agree. I guess there's two main things to consider. There's length of season. So if you start your peppers, your sweet peppers, obviously they don't need quite as long as a super hot, like a chinense or something like that. But if you did start them really early in February, and they had a good time getting going, getting potted on, you got all that right, and then you put it out kind of late May, it might do fine. You can, if you time it right, you can have a really good growing season outdoors with peppers. But you've got to get that timing right, and you've got to have a variety that is suited to it. I think King of the North is like a sweet pepper that does quite well outside. And then the other thing to consider as well is moisture. If they're outside, it's just much harder to control exactly how much moisture they're getting. Sweet peppers, once again, it's not quite the same as chili peppers, which don't like to have wet feet. It's maybe not such a concern if you're doing sweet peppers, but it's still something to be aware of, if you have a really wet summer, for sure.
Right, Mark. What? Sorry, I'm just putting you on back on there. What? Because you're, beyond the wall. Do you know what I mean? You're kind of right up, yeah. You know what I mean? Surely you must put something outdoors and it just withers and dies. You'll not be kind of trying to grow sweet peppers out there, are you?
No, all my stuff like that goes in the polyton, like you were saying there. The season's so short up here. All the sorts of like Mediterranean crops, I guess as you call them, say the tomatoes, the peppers, the chilies, aubergines, all that sort of stuff goes right inside the polytunnel. And it's only hardy crops that sort of grow outside. But absolutely what JB was saying there, it depends where you are. If you're somewhere lovely and sunny and warm down south, absolutely crack on, get them out. And I did King of the North last year, and they were brilliant. Loads and loads and loads of fruits off them. They were a great variety. I'd highly recommend them.
And Mark, are you getting, because one of the things I always find with like sweet peppers is I struggle to get them ripened, and it's like running out of season time. You know what I mean? That kind of the natural daylights. You know, you must be like 3 hours shorter than me through the summer.
Oh, look at that! I've got them. Is it this hand? 11 degrees here on the screen. You've only got 10 degrees. It's tropical up here. But yeah, again, King of the North last year, they all ripened lovely. Like they were a really sort of deep red colour. They were absolutely superb. So I'm trying them again this year, and I'm doing some purple ones as well that are, by coincidence, I have on my desk here. Look at that at the same time. So some Baker's Creek ones there.
Did you
purple beauties? So we'll give them a try.
Did you order them from Baker Creek?
I did, yeah. So they've got a thing where it's like the most you can put in one order to the UK is 10. So, but you can only order 9 because you always get one free packet of seeds. So you can order 9 packets and one free packet. And the postage was about $12, I think, which is, it sounds expensive, but I don't mind if you're doing one biggish order like that. So if you get all your seeds in one go once a year, it's not too bad. And just get them all sent through.
Well, I think $10 isn't. Mine, Scottish. You know what I mean. You're a little bit kind of careful with your money up there as well, aren't you? So
nice and tight. Keep it in a sporran.
Yeah. What? Let's just see. I'm just going to try and think about. Oh, Mark, while we're on, and I've forgotten what note you mentioned on the WhatsApp thing that you think there's a magazine, a gardening magazine going under us. You know how we talk. Green Sensation.
It was Grow Your Own magazine. So the publisher up here in Scotland, DC Thompson, it's called, in Dundee, and it does does things like the Beano and the Dandy and all that sort of stuff. So like loads of places at the moment, they're having some financial difficulties, and I think that they're getting rid of about sort of 10 to 20 of the more niche publications. And I've seen this discussion. It was on a Facebook group, right enough, but normally I wouldn't take any notice of it, but it seemed to gather a lot of traction, and a lot of people were sort of backing up this comment that that Grow Your Own magazine was going to stop. So people who got subscriptions and that were complaining, saying, "Oh, what does that mean for my subscription?" And I think if it's true and it has gone, then these people have just lost the subscription. So anyone who's got them for Christmas and stuff like that, obviously you're just into February now, it's going to lose all that money that's just been paid out.
Right, that's just gut wrenching, to be honest. You know, like I say, it's the fallout's coming now for like you say, the Green Sensation and the kind of the magazines, and it's a little bit kind of it's brutal. You know what I mean? Our little hobbies kind of.
This one. This is the one it looks like.
Yeah, well, I hope it's not true. I hope it's okay. It was just a
quite a nice mag, this one.
What month is that one, JB? Is that this month?
This is very old. I had an old subscription. This is
he's pinched it out of a library. I'm telling you. Yeah,
it was a gift too.
The dentist's waiting.
I actually subscribed to that one. I get it for the digital copy of it, so I'm gonna have to check and see if I got next month's yet.
Well, it's funny. Audrey, you did subscribe to that one, or do you use Readly and have because you want to switch over to Readly? To be honest, I pay every so often. I kind of have I use Readly, so I think it's $9.99. I'm not even getting paid for this. It's not even a sponsor.
Yeah,
$9.99 though. With every gardening magazine. That's how I cream some of these questions. You know what I mean? Because it's just like you got the pick of No,
I didn't. I forget what I subscribe with, but it's not Readly.
Well, if you go through, like, say, really, every garden magazine is there. Do you know what I mean? And it's like on any app, it's beautiful. To be honest, it's lovely. Do you know what I mean? Kind of. And our Hannah's in one of them writing. I forget which one. Which one is?
Garden.
Which one was it, Mark?
Kitchen Garden magazine.
Kitchen Garden. Yeah.
Oh, yummy. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can read all of them kind of there. JB.
I was just going to say I think we've got a minor panic in the chat. So just to confirm, it is a rumor, isn't it, Mark? Yeah, we're not 100%
It's not been
sure.
confirmed with PC Thompson.
Well, I don't want to kind of, whoever kind of, started off this rumor.
Oh, thanks. It's Steve. If anybody asks, it's Steve.
You know what I mean? I don't want to kind of. Right. JB.
Hello.
We've got Helen Hawkins is asking, JB, why? Now I'm guessing, what wildflowers? So, you know what I mean? You kind of.
I love that. It's a nice and open question. That one.
Well, JB, I'm thinking, to be honest, because you're the one with like ground to spare with that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not saying waste it on wildflowers, but you know what I mean? You're quite, keen on your meadows. And so I'm guessing Helen's asking, what wildflowers would you be recommending?
So it's a very broad question, even like any, however you phrase it. The question of what kind of wildflowers to grow is very broad. I mean, there's your personal preference, things that you like, but mainly it's going to be dictated by kind of soil conditions as well. Now, there's two ways you can go. You can go more of a long haul, like a perennial, more permaculture, like trying to get it right so that it takes care of itself, which is what I'm trying to do. And it can be really difficult. It requires you to kind of try and get a bit of understanding about what's going on in your soil. You've got to put quite a few years into it. Or you can go the other way, which might be easier, which is essentially kind of, generally speaking, you can have quite good success with cornfield annuals. And you can get all sorts of kind of cornfield annual mixes. And the reason that they are good is because they generally do quite well in relatively high nutrient soils. So if you've got a lawn, if you've got a border, if you've got something that you've been growing fruit, veg, flowers, anything in your garden, you've probably added amendments, you've probably bloodfish bone, fertilizer, rose food, whatever it is. Cornfield annuals, a packet of those will generally give you quite a good show. And you might get some that come back next year if they flower successfully. But if you go more of the perennial way, then that's more looking at things like yellow rattle that I've talked about a lot. It's normally for places where you've got lots of grass and you're trying to create more of like a meadow feel. Does that answer the question?
Well, it rings a bell because I was watching, Jimmy. I don't know if you've watched it there. It was you're on about, like say, just like meadow flowers, like that cornflower, like all different colours, all vibrant colours. As I've been watching, and honestly, it's been put aside his hideous comments that he should be kind of flailed 1,000 times over for. But I've been watching Clarkson's second season of his farm, which just highlights the plight of like British farmers. Is just unreal what they've got to put up with. But there was one little bit where he planted wild. He was just sprinkling his seeds around like a pattern, and he was writing Caleb's name. He's like his young kind of like protege kind of thing. And I was thinking, well, they'll never grow. Do you know what I mean? It's just like just throwing them in. You know what I mean? And sure enough, exactly what you know what I mean. Like good. You could, from the air, because they took them up at the end of the season, they took them up, and you could see this big name in the field, Caleb something. I don't know if it was like the word twat afterwards or something like that. But they just seem to like such an easy one to kind of to get your feet wet in that. If you want to kind of waste your garden on meadow flowers. So you talked about the yellow rat. Are they really hard to grow then? Are they? I know we kind of you failed. I
did, multiple times.
Yeah.
Not surprising, but yeah. So yellow rattle are kind of colloquially people call it the meadow maker, right? And the reason that it's so good
that's
is
a great
because
name, isn't it?
it's good, isn't it? It's got some poetry to it. Yeah, so the meadow maker, and it's a hemiparasite. So it does photosynthesize, it generates its own nutrients, but also it taps into the roots of grasses, especially. And the reason that that is important is because in most meadow systems, grasses will kind of grow to dominate, especially if there's a high nutrient content. You know, grasses just love it. They just go crazy and they will grow much faster and shade everything else out. That's kind of like the ecological niche that grasses have developed for. And so when you get yellow rattle established, it knocks back the grass, it grows so much slower, and everything else that's in the seed bank has much more time to kind of actually flourish, set seed, do its thing, then you get more and more diversity over time.
There you go. What a round of applause for that young man's stepping up to the mark there. Audrey, while I've got you on, I just want to ask again, is your lavender S shape still hanging in there? Can you still?
It's beautiful. I can't wait to see it starting to bud.
Right.
It's got to go through a couple more really nasty things, but it's all hanging in there, and it looks like an S.
Was this the? This wasn't the one that you planted upside down as well, was it?
Oh.
Which was the plant that you planted upside down? About
that was. Oh my gosh. What was that?
No.
It was a ground cover. It never recovered. It just. I should have just dumped it all up.
Yes,
Yeah.
it has to be green side up, obviously. You know
I know. Well, this one was brown side up and brown side down, and it was we had to figure out which one was which.
So even in Audrey, even in the like your blistering cold, that lavender's still hanging in there.
It is. I think cold tolerant to like 15 below Fahrenheit,
Right.
which is really cold Celsius.
Right.
So I won't even guess what that is Celsius.
Oh.
Really cold. We'll call it that.
Marvelous. Well, that's lovely. We'll need pictures when they're all in.
I can't wait to see it budding in the spring, and it should maybe double in size this year. So I'm very excited to see that.
It's funny because I've got some which obviously wasn't tolerant to a certain degree, and everyone's gone. Do you know what I mean? Lost every one just at the front garden. Excuse me, I'm still. I'm still suffering from man flu here. You know, I'm still got the legacy of it, so just have to bear with us.
You're having twins. I don't know.
We've got. Let's have a look. I'll just put the Mark Ian Hughes saying, question: to sow or not to sow? With the cold snap coming back this weekend, I didn't actually know, Mark, to be honest. Should I hold off sowing tomatoes? Well, me personally, Mark, I'll just say that I'm not going to be sowing tomatoes probably the second week in March, possibly the third week before I start. Maybe I might do the brads because I thought the brads seemed to trail a little bit, like took a little while to get the fruits like ripe. But I'm aiming for the second week in March, maybe the third. JB, is that somewhere where you're doing it, or?
Yep, pretty much the same. I think because I'm so used to growing chilies, I'm always alarmed by how quickly tomatoes grow. So I find you can definitely wait until the latter half of March before you start worrying too much. I think I waited a little bit long last year. I think I should have gone a little bit earlier. I might have put them in like mid-April, which was maybe a little bit bit too much for me.
Right.
Oh yeah, I could just be misremembering. I don't know. I did have a bad tomato.
Mid-April,
so
right?
I'm definitely a bit earlier this year, but not till March certainly for me.
Ian, what about up there, lad? You'll have had them in since November, have you? Ian?
Did you mean Mark?
Sorry, why am I saying Ian? Where's Ian? Oh, Ian's asking.
The other Scotsman.
Mark's got that face where I don't know if he's frozen or not. You know what I mean?
Interesting fact, my middle name's Ian. There you go.
Oh, you see, you should have answered straight away.
I should have known.
Right, what was that? I didn't forget.
Tomatoes.
Yes, tomatoes. Have you
Yeah.
sown yours or not? Or
Oh no, I reckon about the same as you, about the third week in March-ish kind of time. The problem is, I wish I could sow them earlier. I'd like to sow them earlier, but I'll end up running out of space because, like JB says, the tomatoes will take off really quickly, and then I'm trying to manage them under grow lights and on windowsills and stuff like that, and it just becomes a right mess.
you need a greenhouse.
So I reckon a greenhouse, that would be then I need a heater and then an
no.
automatic irrigation system and automatic windows. And everything.
Sure, you've got to have automatic irrigation in
You've got to
automatic.
have everything. You've got to have the whole lot.
Love, I've got to. Do you know what I mean? You can't just have a greenhouse.
It's a need. It's a must.
Well, I want to just show you Mike's allotment there. He's got all. Look at that. He's got all these bloody plants, all these tomatoes. Now, I'm sure Mike was saying he's doing the tests. You know what I mean? He's wanting to find out which ones he'd like eventually. But they're all there, and he's sowing already. Now, like I say, I wouldn't be jumping the gun there, but I just like to have I'm quite a nosy. You know what I mean? Like them. Which one's there? I'll keep the picture on. JB, I'm going to come to you first. Which one there, if you had to pick two, would you dump? Would you get rid of?
I think so tomatoes is like one of my weakest knowledge areas, right? Like, but the only one on there that really jumps out is Moneymaker. I think that's one that's kind of fallen out of favor a bit now, hasn't it? I think it was really popular like a decade ago because of its like reliability, but I think as varieties have come on, there's a lot more exciting stuff out there. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm interested to hear.
Well, I would pick Moneymaker, and I would also pick probably the Alicante as well. I would, purely because, like you say, they've been in God. I would still keep probably the Gardener's Delight because that's like a nice big cherry tomato.
I like it.
Yeah,
it's easy.
Yeah, it's easy.
It actually grows.
So, Mark, Mark, who are you calling?
Whatever you call it.
If you could dump which one would you get rid of there?
Well, the two I'd go for, probably both for the same reason, and the second one might be a bit controversial. So I'm going to go for Tigrella and Crimson Crush.
He's just there to cause havoc. He's causing.
It's the flavour because the Tigrella ones.
He's causing bloody havoc in this tomato world. Jesus,
they're all stripy and they look amazing, but they don't taste great. In Crimson Crush, I love Crimson Crush. The whole theory behind them, blight resistant. And I grew them last year, and there was loads of them, and they were brilliant and all that jazz. But the flavour of them, they're just so bland.
See,
wow.
I'm going to have to disagree. I'll probably agree with you with the Tigerella because I've grown Tigerella once and I wasn't that enamoured with it. But the Crimson Crush, I think, has got a lovely flavour. Do you mean I
might have to try them again then? And if they're rubbish, I'm blaming you.
How the nerve of the man! You know what I mean?
Where's Steve when you need him?
He sits in Steve's seat and he's throwing out Steve's best tomato. Who is this guy? Crimson Crush gets shot of it. Audrey, I guess American kind of different.
Of these are a little foreign to me, but Tigerella, I think, is a green tomato, correct?
No, I'm sure it's it's stripy. I would have thought like orangey green, if that's a kind of.
I thought it was green. I saw Hugh Richards talking about it recently.
I'm not a fan of green. I'm not a fan of green tomatoes when they're ripe. I don't mind a green tomato when it's supposed to be something else. They're just underripe tomatoes. So I would probably actually pick the same as Mark has. Tigerella and Crimson Crush.
Wow.
I've never tasted a Crimson Crush. I've just heard so many mixed reviews on it. I would go, I probably wouldn't grow that one.
Well,
I knew I liked Audrey.
She's canny lasses. Yeah. In the chat, while I put up this in the chat, let one know in the chat which one to throw out of that one, or would you throw out Crimson Crush? Are we right in our choices, or is there a one there? I mean, to be honest, Nimbus, I haven't heard of that. Is it Ions? I've never heard of that one. Roma, I've heard of that. Brad's Atomic, I wouldn't get rid of that. Sun Gold, yep. Santa, you know what I mean? So there's some there I haven't. Outdoor Girl, has anyone heard of Outdoor Girl? I haven't.
I've heard Let's Go Home talking about that one quite a lot. Denise, I think she rates it.
Right.
I hope so anyway. I haven't just made that up. I'm pretty sure she recommended that one to me for outdoor growing.
Comments, let's please tell me which ones, if we're right or wrong as well. And it'll give us a good time now to go. Don't forget, if you're in the audience, you get 15% off from my link there to these. So are you, JB, are you going to grow some of these Black Moon F1s then?
Yeah, definitely. They look good, don't they? I had, it's quite funny. I had a tomato list that I wrote down, and it was mostly just kind of making use of the seeds I'd accumulated and never actually planted. And a lot of them were really quite naff, you know, like some Gardener's Delight in there, that kind of thing. And I've just been sent so many amazing things by Audrey. I've seen all these cool ones on Growing Local, and that old list is just out. I'm like, yeah, give me the exciting stuff.
Well, I'm sure as well, Ian mentioned as well that I think, if I'm right in thinking, he may be one of the only few, or the only one at the moment that's got those Black Moon ones in. So you have to go through me to get that kind of sorted.
Flower, Tony, there.
There we go. What time we got? 10 minutes. I've got one more little thing. Don't forget, Wednesday, we've got the chili special with myself and JB. But this is just, if anyone's like, I'm got myself caught out, that is my Cavarel Nero. This is the time to net up. You know what I mean? We do the videos, we say, this is what you do, you net up. But I never followed my instructions. And that's, I mean, I've only got probably about 2 or 3 plants there left now where I can get there's about 5 being pecked away. Do you know what I mean? So once pigeons know that that's like kind of there, do you know what I mean? Mark, are you all covered up, protection? Because now's the time.
Yeah, most of it we've because where my site is, we've got loads of massive trees right along the edge of it, and the wood pigeons. You can just see them sitting there waiting for you to go away with something left unnetted or open, and in they come. As soon as they're not there, they're straight in.
It's just it's brutal, to be honest. And like in a way, you want to kind of help the wildlife and all that nonsense, but it's all kind of just
not the pigeons. Not the pigeons.
Yeah, pigeons don't count.
No.
Pigeons don't count.
They can have the Crimson Crush.
You've got some explaining to do.
It's only because Steve's not here.
What about you, JB? Do you sometimes get caught out, or are you quite a good?
Always, yeah. I do the same thing every time with my brassicas, where it gets to kind of the start of winter, and I go, no more caterpillars. Yeah, I can get rid of the netting because I hate it. And then the pigeons come in, and they always wait a little while. It's like they know. They give me that false sense of security.
Well, actually, JB, when you think, didn't we take the kind of the Mickey? What's the bloody point? Came from that, wasn't it?
That was caterpillars. Was caterpillars.
What's the bloody point?
Yeah.
Yes. So,
yeah, I need to get some better netting this year, certainly. That's on my to-do list.
Audrey, is that something you have to worry about over there in downtown Detroit?
Pigeons? No. But those caterpillars, the white moths are just my nemesis. So I'm going to try a lot of different things with brassicas this year. And if I can't, I'm just going to buy organic brassicas from the store.
Just chemicals.
They really disheartened me by how badly they poached some things. So I'm going to try to get creative with what I can do and see how it works. And I'll pass that along if anything does.
Well, I'm actually going to sow my calabrese now, and your peppers. Or do you send us some? Did you send some? Not fennel. I'm sure you sent over some chili.
Oh, I sent you fennel. Yes, I did. And I was like,
yes, you did.
Yes, I did, because I know how much you loved it. And I thought, yeah,
I
this
will.
is a much better. This is a much better seed, I think.
Right. Because
So
everyone went to bloody
my
went to
favorite.
see. Yes. I think
My
we've kind of come to the end. We're on top of the hour there now. 5 minutes to sneak in tips of the week. Now, Mark, you've totally kind of dished Steve with his Crimson Crush. Surely you can come back with a decent tip of the week, sir.
Tip of the week: chit those potatoes. It's that time of year when you should be chitting potatoes. I'm a fan of chitting potatoes. You see, there's
Wow!
That did not come out
Steve
like
as angry as possible.
Mustache with like some wax on it, because you're killing him.
So I'm just going for it. Evil nemesis over here. But you see, people, it can be quite controversial. You don't have to do it, but I'm a big advocate of doing it, primarily because it gives us gardeners at this time of year something to do. You can potter about a nice bright windowsill in a cold room, get an egg box out, get your seed potatoes in there. Oh, Bob's your uncle. Absolutely marvellous. You can go in and check on them every day, see the little chits coming out when there's nothing else doing up at the allotment or in your garden or whatever. You can just potter away and see them grown.
Mark, thank you very much, lad. Thank you. And next time, I think you're on next, Mark. I think it's like the
6th of March.
6th of March. And I'll show the picture next time. But I just want to tell folks about Mark with his polytunnel that got flooded the whole garden.
I can still smell it.
We had a bag of chicken manure.
God, it was awful.
Oh, Mark.
Yeah, it's not pellets anymore. It's just one big clump.
It's one pellet. Just one.
One pellet, one big pellet. It's awful.
Man,
it's still in there. I've not been back since.
Never. Right. Yeah. JB, sir, have you got a tip of the week?
I do. In short, the tip of the week is to watch YouTube videos about gardening. But let me expand on it. Let me expand on the reasoning. There's a great channel you can check out called Naturally Jane. So for the second time at the start of a growing season, I have experienced something being a bit off with my seedlings. This happened with my brassicas last year, and basically the whole tray is just growing extraordinarily slowly. So this is my chili seedlings. We'll talk about this a bit more on Wednesday, and I've got a video coming out. But what happens is when you've got a tray of stuff that's all roughly the same, and it all grows really slowly, you don't actually it's really easy to not know that it's growing slowly, right? They just look pretty healthy. They look the same. And it's not until you go and do something like watch YouTube or share pictures on a brilliant Potty Mouth Discord that you can actually compare with people and other growers. And that's what often gives me the spark and goes, wait a minute, something is not quite right here. So that's kind of the tip. Watch some more YouTube. Make sure that, you're talking to other gardeners as well, like, and actually communicate.
But if that's the case, JB, and you do realise, like I say, we'll cover this. This could for any plant though, but I know chilies take a while. What do you do? Do you know what I mean?
So you have to troubleshoot. You have to try and narrow down what the problem is and figure it out. There's so many things it could be. It could be over or underwatering. It could be your lights. It could be one thing that people do get wrong often with artificial lights is that they have them too powerful or too close, and actually that can stress the plants. I don't think that's what's happening with my chili. It can be airflow. It can be humidity. There's lots and lots of different factors. I'm fairly confident that the issue with my chilies is the same as it was with my brassica, which is dodgy compost, or just there's something not quite right in the compost. I'm not sure exactly what it is. But something's not right.
I'm sure that's just like a blanket one, you know what I mean? It kind of covers everywhere. It's obviously the compost.
Yeah.
And it's always like I always hear that a certain brand, you know what I mean? Like kind of, if you know which brand I'm on about, Distance Horizons. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, oh, it's got to be the compost. Got to be the bloody compost.
Yeah.
Audrey.
Yes.
Tip of the week, please.
Okay, I have two, because I'm not on very much anymore. So I thought, I'm coming loaded.
Oh, yes.
First one is take care before you start sowing more seeds. Be sure you're taking care of the ones you've already sown. Like, I take mine off the shelves. I look at them. I try to troubleshoot if anything's going on. So I lose as little, because you've already put time and energy and care into those. So do not neglect what you've already sown. That's tip number 1. And number 2 is I'm trying to grow a cucumber because Jesse had been growing them. Well, mine are alive, but they're not thriving. So I was ready to start maybe doing another couple, but then I thought by then I'm going to be able to plant them outside. Anyway, this one that has 2 true leaves on it has 5 blossoms. Like, it's going to it's 2 inches tall. It has 5 yellow blossoms on it. So I guess my other one is, if you're growing stuff inside, get all those blossoms off. No matter how pretty they are, don't let it blossom until it's in the ground growing where you want it to. Let it work on roots and developing good systems. You don't need fruit yet.
There you go. Did I ask you what tomatoes you are growing this year? You haven't.
But I haven't done my video yet on that.
Right. Oh, we'll get you next time.
Well, and I'm putting mine on rootstock this year. I'm gonna.
That's right.
Do that. Yeah, I'm doing that with all of mine. So I might start mine a week or so early, because I think the plant loses a little bit until it's solidly on that new rootstock. So I might do that early mid-March.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. So I just want to mention again, if you don't mind, like I say, it's on. Our discount is on until 10 o'clock tonight for anyone that's in the live, or actually anyone there that's kind of catching it a little bit later. The 15% discount is on. I think, if I'm right, I'm sure I'm right in thinking, Ian said he's probably at this moment the sole provider, retailer who's got these Black Moon tomatoes. Do you know what I mean? So little company there, you got to help support them. You get. He's almost giving them away. Look at that. The price there is £1.49.
So good.
Do you know what I mean? So
that's amazing.
It's just fantastic, to be honest. Very kind of him to do that. While we're on, there you go. Don't forget, if to support this fantastic show, keep it chugging along, come over to Patreon. That would be fantastic as well. So that'd be nice if there's a link in the description as well. JB, Audrey, Mark, big thank you for stepping in late. Do you know what I mean?
No problem.
You can say whatever you want. Do you know what I mean? Don't even worry about the old fella. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure he'll forgive you.
I'm waiting for the WhatsApp going.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be right on there.
Oh, yes. You will be thoroughly spanked, I'm sure. So, anyway, take good care. Everyone,
Bye.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
Thanks,
Take care. Toodle pip.
Bye, all.